Host. Now, I've got Ryan Dawson on the line. I'm going to bring him up in just a minute, but my entire show, first hour, kind of centers around what I was getting into, and I've got a little bit more to add here before I bring Ryan up. The D.C. Mafia, as I mentioned to you, okay, I played for you Marjorie Taylor Greene. All the things she spoke about, the gas prices, illegal immigration, inflation, the Mafia cares nothing about these issues, as they are too busy profiting on the death and suffering of the American people and people all over the world. Even the godfather Marlon Brando would be shamed for their actions. But I want to remind you, the Clinton crime family and their phony pay-to-play foundation, the Bush crime family and the Carlyle group profiting on death and war, the Pelosi family profiting off insider trading, the John Kerry family profiting on the Biden crime family enterprise through his stepson, Chris Hines. But the coup de grace of all of this, folks, is, and in your face in all of this, is the current sitting imposter in the White House and his criminal crime family, a man that has been caught on camera numerous times, smelling little girls' hair and whispering lewd remarks in their ear whilst their parents stand by helpless to intervene due to the current circumstances surrounding the said event. A man that has been described in his daughter's diary of showering naked with her in her pre-adolescence. And also, in case you don't know, the Bidens, and Ryan's going to cover this because I'm going to make him, the Bidens bought property on Water Island. It's a stone's throw from Epstein's Island, an island of child rape, folks. But I'll let Ryan expound on that little tidbit while he talks about his documentary titled No Bottom, The Biden Crime Family, or I Just Wanted a Quick Sniff. Ryan, how you doing?
Yeah, I just wanted a quick sniff. There you go. Well,
I mean, seriously.
Clinton sniffed cocaine, Biden sniffs little kids, you know. What Clinton said, you know, he's like, I don't like cocaine, I just like the way it smells.
But, I mean, I know you've seen those video clips of him smelling little girls' hair and whispering lewd remarks in their ears while their parents stand by helplessly and watch.
He has some little self-control. He'll do that even when he knows he's on camera.
It's disgusting.
Maybe he just likes Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, you know, Ryan, I watched that video last week. I was very impressed with it, by the way. I'll give you accolades for it.
Corn Pop's Revenge, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, you cover a lot of stuff, and I've touched on snippets of it here and there. But, I mean, you did an excellent job of just exposing the whole thing, connecting the dots. And this goes back to the Obama administration when Biden was the vice president. You know, and you're going back, all the way back to 2013 when he was in office with Biden. And I want you to start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, but they gave his son-in-law a contract for a healthcare website that never did work. Okay. They just giving him millions of dollars, and their Biden's working in, you know, all these white-collar Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, Ryan, is that the reason, because I remember this, is that the reason why, remember they were talking about the website was coming up for Affordable Health Care Act, which is totally unaffordable, and they kept throwing, it never worked right, and all the people that were trying to get in there were just disgusted with the fact that, you know, they would get kicked out, and they couldn't, you know, graduate from level 1 to level 2 and all that stuff, and this went on, and they threw millions of dollars at it, and this is the reason why.
And you're supposed to be able to go in and see, all right, if you're on Obamacare, you type in your stats and stuff, and it was supposed to tell you this is your new healthcare, this is the price. Thing is, with American healthcare, you've never known the price. You might know the price of your insurance every month, assuming you never go to the hospital. But we didn't have any. There was no transparency, so two different people could go to the hospital for the same reason and get different prices depending on how much they earned and, you know, and who they were. They usually got the bill after the fact, which was a problem. The very last thing President Trump did while he was in lame duck is he got healthcare transparency, but then that January Biden killed it.
Okay, so I want to interject here that what you're saying is that this entire fiasco, and I remember it personally because of friends of mine and family members who were disgusted with this. Are you saying that this whole debacle was caused by this nepotistic BS in the administration by these family members?
Yeah. And
oh my God.
You know, it just They didn't even, it was a little upstart that didn't do any substantial business whatsoever, and suddenly they've got a meeting at the White House. I guess it helps when your father-in-law is Joe Biden, the vice president, and you know, they call it Obamacare, whatever. Obama was a cutout. He wasn't in charge of anything. He was just there, you know, he had a charm. He was the right demographic and what in their heads, you know. First black president causes slavery in North Africa again by invading Libya with NATO and handing the country over to Al-Qaeda.
Well, come on, he was leading from behind. We all know that, Ryan. Come on now. Yes. No, I had Jim and Joanne Moriarty on my program many times who were there, who witnessed the atrocities there. And unfortunately, Jim, according to Joanne, they killed him. They killed him in the hospital. So, you know, I'm pretty familiar with that. But I want to take you back here.
I had an interview with one of Gaddafi's bodyguards. It's pretty illuminating. Even Libya now, it has not recovered. And it was... I hate defending people like Gaddafi, but like compared to what they ended up with Salafist groups running around rape gangs and things, all the things they accused Gaddafi of are actually real now after the invasion. And that's another reason why, you know, the Russian state might be a little weary of NATO. NATO has invaded nations based on false pretexts and destroyed them. And who wants that next door, right?
I'm totally in agreement with you. I want to take you back because some of this stuff first of all, I watched the video, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and then I went back in to bone up on it was yesterday, and it was gone off the RVM website. So I had to contact Mike and say, hey, pull this up and send it to me so I can go through it. So I did go through it again. And it's, I some of the highlights, John Kerry. I mean, you've got a clip in there of John Kerry that's being, indoctrinated into the Secretary of State, and he's shaking hands with Biden, and he whispers in Biden's ear, "This is great for both of us." But his stepson, Chris Hines, is affiliated with and up to his eyeballs in these nefarious activities, business-wise, overseas with China and Ukraine, with Hunter Biden.
Yeah, he's a partner, Devon Archer. It's always the same trio: Devon Archer, Hunter Biden, and Chris Hines. They collectively own 30% of Rosemont Sentka, working with the Communist Chinese, with Bohai Harvest and BHR, and that's just one of they're all in Burisma too, which is really owned by Burisma Holdings, which is Ihor Kolomoisky, one of the oligarchs of Ukraine. He owned the only oil refinery, which has now been blown up, by the way. But this is the guy that selected himself to be governor in Donetsk and Dnepr, I think. And all these different Zionist oligarchs get appointed governor by a Zionist president and Zionist prime minister that came to power after a blatant coup d'etat, and with the Maidan massacre followed up by stuffing people in buildings and setting them on fire and murdering children and then killing 13 to 14,000 people in Donbass. So these lunatics, supported by the Obama-Biden administration, and as soon as Biden got back into office, he upped it and giving them heavy artillery and so on. Now we end up with a war in Ukraine. It was put on a little bit of a lull while Trump was president, but the violence continued throughout his presidency too. But at least he didn't send them the level of equipment that Biden did. But he really did nothing about it either. But Kolomoisky has Joe Biden compromised because his son and the son of the former Secretary of State, plus Devon Archer, are all working and getting about $80,000 a month for no-show jobs, which is something that Donald Trump brought up during the debates, and they denied it. And Twitter denied it. This is the pre-Elon Musk Twitter. But they just said, oh, no, that's Russian disinfo. And then you have this giant laptop which has these deals on it, in addition to utter degeneracy by Hunter Biden smoking crack and banging hookers and things.
Oh, I saw it. I know, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, I put all this stuff out in 2020. I mean, this movie you watched was also out before the election. All this was known forever ago. It's just, but people like me aren't allowed. I'm not allowed on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or any of the.
Well, maybe they'll let you come back on Twitter now.
Possibly, or they let Tucker Carlson come back. So
yeah.
I think Babylon.
Well, I wanted to ask you though. I wanted to ask a curious question. I mean, Chris Hines, John Kerry's stepson, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, the trio, and then we've got Devon Archer.
Devon Archer's in jail.
I know, but that was my question.
Well, he doesn't have a prominent, famous daddy.
Is that it? That's the answer to the question. All right.
He